which is what we'll do on the back side of the page. So I want to do this with you, and I'm going to kind of label things. So we've got a part 1, a part 2, and a part 3 on this graph. And so I'm going to kind of label them a 1, a 2, and a 3. So I need to include a couple of things. I need to include, when I'm describing things, I need to include a direction. I need to include a relative speed, and I need to include whether it's constant or not, which it's all going to be constant right now, so that should be pretty easy, right? But I also need to make sure that I'm talking about it in the order that it's happening. So I'm going to look at my arrows, and these arrowheads are kind of hard to see. Sorry, they're pointing this way. Okay. That's how I knew that it started here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's my start. So when I look at these arrows, remember motion diagrams were lesson 2. So these are long arrows, so it's going fast. They're pointing this way, so that's in the positive direction. So it's going fast in the positive direction at a constant speed. Constant speed. I could have written that a little better. A fast constant speed in the positive direction would have been maybe a little bit more reasonable to write. Those stacked dots tell me that it's stopped. And then here it is going the other direction, so now it's going in the negative direction, okay? And these shorter arrows mean that it's going slower, and they're all the same length, so it's still constant. So it's well, let's write it better. So it's a slow constant speed in the negative direction. So now I just have to think back to what I just wrote down. So how do I show fast? Fast is steep. Okay, so it needs to be steep. In the positive direction means it has to go up. And constant means it needs to be straight. So my first part of my line has to be steep, going up, and straight. For stopped, it has to be flat. And for constant speed, it has to be, for slow, it has to be less steep. Negative means it needs to be going down, and it needs to be straight again. Okay? So if I were to take my slopometers, I could kind of graph this out by itself here. So I need it to be steep going up, then I need it to be flat, then I need it to be going down and less steep. But they all have to connect, right? So maybe I needed some shorter ones. So it needs to be something like this, but I have to fit it on the graph. Okay, so let's see. I got to go up, and then I got to go over, and then not quite so much like that. Okay? So there we are. There's my 1, 2, and 3 motion. 1, 2, 3. If it helps you to use writing utensils, slopometers, my mistake, to make your graph like that, by all means, go right ahead.